is Keith Gleason, host of Indie Comics Relay, creator of the Mighty Mascots, and promoter for the Plastic City Comic Con. And I'm here with another indie comic review. Before we get into that, just a reminder, Plastic City Comic Con happening August 19th, Saturday, from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. We are at the Game On Sports Complex, a new venue for us. Brand new venue, which is nice, and it kind of alleviates all the problems we've had with the past venue. We got, AC, Wi-Fi, all that stuff on site now. And food. We got a sports bar upstairs and a snack bar, so everybody can enjoy food throughout the day. And the admission for the convention is only $10. Kids 12 and under free parking. We have over 230 vendors, something like that, something crazy. So we are a pretty big show for a little low price, which is nice, so hopefully you can come out and join us. Also free parking too, so it's only going to cost you $10 to get in, and if you have a little kid with you, they'll be free. So come on in, check it out. We got a lot of great comic guests coming, a video game competition throughout the day, things like that. So there's gonna be a lot of fun little things to do. So check it out. All right. On to, now that we got the promos out of the way, we are on to our comic review. So I'm actually reviewing the entire mini series from IDW called Saturday Morning Adventures Dungeons and Dragons. Now this is IDW doing their version of the great Saturday morning cartoon Dungeons and Dragons, which aired, I believe, in the early 80s. And so the credits on this book, let's start with that first. So we got, the writer is David M. Booher, I think is how you say it, Booher. And he's co-written with Sam Maggs. And then the artist is George Cambadias, I think is how you say it. I'm sorry if I screwed up these names. If you guys are listening, I often are really bad at pronouncing names. But I just, wanted to put your names out there because, you guys did the book and you guys deserve the credit, So for a short summary of the book, so let me start with the summary of the cartoon. If you've seen it, all you need to do is watch the intro, and if I can download it here and put it on the video, I will. Let me read this synopsis real quick of the actual Dungeons and Dragons. So it's long before the world turned upside down and new generations discovered D&D. 6 kids boarded a magical roller coaster and were transported to the Forgotten Realms. Noble Ranger Hank, intrepid acrobat Diana, quiet thief Sheila, impulsive barbarian Bobby, fearful cavalier Eric, and uncertain magician Presto only want to get back to their own world, but escaping the realms has turned out to be much harder than getting there. Danger lurks at every turn. The enigmatic dungeon master is less than helpful, and Venger, the force of evil, will stop at nothing to get his hands on the magical weapons the kids have come to rely on. So yeah, that's the premise of the cartoon and pretty much the comic. Let's see what else. So I always like to take a look at everything on it. The artwork is very stylized, but it actually fit the comic well. And I think it's because it's the cartoon version of Dungeons and Dragons that it really worked. It had a nice look to it. It's very stylized and like angular. If that's the best compliment I could give it, though, is all the characters look like they did from the cartoon, which is good. The action flowed nicely. The storytelling was really well done on it. And yeah, it was very colorful too, which was, there's probably, I don't know if George did the colors as well. It doesn't say here in the description, but yeah, it was good. I liked it. I think it fit the story well. Lettering looked good. And let's see. So it's a $3.99 book. There was 4 issues in the total in the series. Each issue was, the standard, 18 or 24 pages. for $3.99. So the whole mini series will probably cost you $12. Or if you wait for the eventual trade paperback, it's probably going to be around $9, maybe $10, or maybe they might even go more if they put extras. They might charge 15. I don't know. But yeah. So my thoughts on it, I really liked it. The biggest compliment I can give it is when I finished reading it, I did feel like I had watched an episode of the Dungeons and Dragons cartoon. It had all the kind of beats I remembered as a kid. I don't want to kind of give away too many spoilers, all the characters were doing their thing. The one thing that I was really pleasantly surprised of, though, they injected a nice little like story arc into with all the characters in this version. One of the premises they bring up right in the beginning of the series is that the kids have been there for so long now that they're a couple of them in the group are starting to get used to the idea of actually being in the world of Dungeons and Dragons permanently and giving up their quest to try to get home. And it kind of splinters the group, which I could see that happening in the cartoon, which is great, so it splinters the group and they kind of go off on their own. And and the way the story flows is they all kind of come together back at the end, which, it was good. It was like a nice, well done arc. But I like that idea of them, embracing the fact that they may never get home, and that there's people in this realm that could use their help, so it was kind of interesting. Some of the things, okay, so let me see some of the critiques I had, and these are very minor critiques because I did like this, and I actually hope that they do another miniseries. I'd love to see more of this, actually. I know they've done some for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and G.I. Joe, and I think maybe Transformers, but those didn't interest me as much as the Dungeons and Dragons one, because Dungeons and Dragons was one of my favorite cartoons growing up. So I would say, so the couple of things I didn't like, I think it could have been tightened up a little bit. Like, it felt like the first issue, not much happens at all. They introduced the premise, but it kind of drags on. Like, they could have probably made this a 3-issue mini and got away, with tightening it up. But, I imagine maybe they did 4 issues to kind of let it breathe a little bit. But they could have tightened this up and had it as a 3-issue mini. So that was one critique. Another critique I had was sometimes the characters were a little bit off. So they had made Sheila a little more strong-headed in this comic. Like, she was like almost basically the team leader, and I don't remember that being the case in the cartoon. Like, I always remember Hank was the main guy, and he kind of takes a back seat in this miniseries, which I thought was a little out of character. They also didn't make fun of Eric all that much, which was good because I like Eric, and I know in the cartoon everyone kind of hated him, but I always thought he was funny. And I love that they actually gave the acrobat Diana a little more to do in this comic as well. And Presto and Bobby were there, and Uni and everything, but they didn't really do too much with them. Typical Presto can't get his magic work and things like that. But I thought it was also a great use of the D&D world. They they stuck in like the beholder, like all creatures that you kind of remember from the Dungeons and Dragons game and everything. So I really like that, so. And I don't know if you've seen the new Dungeons and Dragons movie. This is a spoiler if you haven't seen it, skip ahead a couple minutes here. But it was so fun to see in the movie that they actually included the kids from the Dungeons and Dragons cartoon in a cameo at the end of the movie. It was fun to see them as live action. Even though there's if you Google it on YouTube or search, there is a live action car commercial with the kids from Dungeons and Dragons. Cool as hell. If you haven't seen it, just Google Dungeons and Dragons live action, and it's a car commercial, but it has all the characters, from the cartoon, which is great. So I think even if I remember right, Tiamat's in the commercial. So that's kind of cool, so check that out. But yeah, would I recommend this? Absolutely. I think if you are a fan of the cartoon, especially if you're a fan of the cartoon, you would love this mini series. I don't know how widely it was distributed. It's IDW, so it should be around. You probably could get it on eBay. I know there was multiple covers of each issue, which I don't get into that whole game. I just want the comic. Um, but I am trying to think if you would like this. I don't know if this would hit the same if you haven't seen the cartoon. The I mean, I think you could follow it just fine, but I think it is it's definitely designed to have that nostalgia. So if you are a fan of the old cartoon, I think this is hyper focused on you as a fan. And like I don't know if the casual reader will get the same kind of enjoyment out of it as a fan of the cartoon. So take that with a grain of salt. But yeah, I give this a thumbs up. I love this cartoon as a kid, and I often thought, why hasn't anyone done anything with this with this property as a comic? And I'm glad they finally did. And I look forward to more. I hope it sold well. Maybe IDW will do more, but I would love it. If IDW, if you're listening, I enjoyed it, so I would love to see more. So, but all right, everybody, that's it for this comic review. I I hope you enjoyed it. Like, subscribe, share this video with people that you think might like it, and then join us every other Monday night for our live streams. Me and Johnny, we interview interesting indie comic creators. Some good personalities. Some got great comics. Some got Kickstarters, Indiegogos, everything. So check that out. And most importantly, have a great week and read some comics. All right, everybody, have a good one, and we will talk to you later. Bye.